everybody, CT Hippo here. Um, First off, doing the videos this way, leaning on the bed, not going to work. I'm sick of making the bed. So, the other day I made a video on making this Cinepole right here. I'm sure it's probably showing up to the left of what you're looking at right now, but otherwise I'm sure you can find it. And I want to talk a little bit today about how these things are actually used. You saw in the intro video that one of the big uses for them is basically what a Cinepole does is it gets your camera in places that you can't reach. In the video I was doing a lot of penetration shots on a derelict sailboat down on Bellingham Bay. And you know, I'm sure a lot of people said, hey, it's only 2 feet. What good does a 2-foot pole? Well, if, you know, I'm reaching up over something that's, you know, what, 1.5 feet over my head. It's above what I can see. This gives me 3 feet over my, well, 3.5 feet over my head and what I can see. I also can't shove my head through a hole this size. I can, however, shove a GoPro on a Cinepole through that hole. And you've just seen a whole bunch of that on the video. Is by using this tool, I was able to get shots in places that I couldn't get to physically. I couldn't get my head or my body into those places. I couldn't reach them, etc., etc. So, despite its small size, the Cinepole is a really effective tool for getting shots in places that you wouldn't think of otherwise. And it's also nice because it is compact. I've got a 3-footer down in the kayak gear locker. Like I said on a previous video, that turned out to be a little long. You strap it to the back of your kayak, gets hung up on stuff. The 2-footer is super handy. It's the size I've mostly used. And it's just been a tremendously useful tool. A lot of shots that I couldn't have gotten any other way. In the video that you saw in the beginning of this, they were all going up. But something else you can do with this is go down. There's a shot in my Everett Breakwater video, which I will stick in here, where I'm standing on the deck of a barge, and it's got holes in the deck, and I'm kind of surprised we didn't fall through them, but that's an entirely another story. I couldn't see what was down there, but by using the Cinepole, lowering it down through a hole in the deck, I was able to get really good shots of what's on the inside of it. You can also use these underwater. You know, a really cool shot to have is to just stick this in the water next to your kayak and get it, seeing your hull from the underneath is a really cool experience. You know, I guess it's probably not going to be the feature of a video that anybody would want to produce, but it's a neat thing. It's kind of cool to see yourself floating there. And again, that's a shot I've gotten and really enjoyed, and so these are just super useful tools. Something else these are good for is they give you something more to hold on to. If you're just doing the handheld GoPro thing, it's really hard to figure out, you know, where the camera is pointing and get it pointing consistently and hold it steady. You know, we're human, we shake, we move. It's not entirely clear where these things are pointing when we're using them. Not as big of a problem with the GoPro, but when you start using like a point and shoot with a narrower field of view, it becomes really super noticeable. So something that the Cinepole does is, one, it acts as a kind of a stabilizer. You know, if you're holding it up here, it's going to want to hang vertically. It's going to want to stabilize itself. And 2, it gives you a really good index, a really good indication of where the camera is pointing. And so you can get much better shots than you could. You know, even just doing this is going to work 5 or 10 times better than free holding the camera like this. And you know, if you build one of those and try this, try just free holding the camera and pointing and see how much the bottom moves. You know, just a few degrees difference, this bottom moves a couple inches. So now I'm holding it this way. Bottom doesn't move at all, which means the camera's not moving at all. It's pointing where I want it. So that is kind of the primer on how you use a Cinepole and the advantages that it brings. Again, you can look back and find the video on how to make one. I will link it down below in the description. And yeah, get out there and make yourself one and go play with it. They're one of the coolest and cheapest and easiest tools you can have as somebody shooting video. Until next time, I'll see you later.